And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review, and today I am reviewing Pokemon Shining Pearl. And I guess you could also call this a review for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, but I never played that, so this is technically just going to be for Shining Pearl, though I know it's the Pokemon way of releasing two of the pretty much the same game with a few differences and having everybody buy both. And also the DLC. So that's the way they make their money, people. We'll get to that a little bit later. But this game was actually is a remake of Pokemon, the Diamond and Pearl games on the DS. It's re-released on the Switch. And I played a lot of remakes. I never played Pearl or Diamond before, so I have no clue. So there's going to be a lot of things that maybe I don't understand that maybe were transferred over from those games, or I wasn't always able to tell like if there was a difference between something they didn't change at all, or something that they made better, or something that got made worse. There are a few instances where I was able to notice it because this game is very good at distinctifying it. But for the most part, I was not able to. But always, thank you to Darkroom7 Eli for letting me borrow this game and giving me the opportunity to play it as well. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. I guess I'll talk about the graphics to start. I don't know why everybody's still structured so tiny. I know that's kind of a thing with like the Game Boy systems and also like the DS. This is another thing I could think, like, oh, this was from the DS, and they just didn't fix it. Because I played more modern Pokemon games, like Sword, or Shield, or whatever, Sword and Shield, and a few others. And those had more realistic looking, or at least more, they updated, more modern look for the characters. So you would think, even though it's a remake of another game from a long time ago when this wasn't a thing, you would at least think they would take the effort to make the characters look better. They do that in battles too, which really blows my mind, because they do it in the battles. It shows that they can do it, and they've done it in other games. So why are you not doing it all the time? I don't know. It just kind of felt a little cheap on their part. Speaking of the graphics, I didn't really mind the rest of the game's like graphical designs. Some of the choices for like the camera angles and stuff like that was a little questionable for me. I didn't think the environments didn't feel updated, but they didn't look bad. I really didn't think they were looked that bad. It didn't look like some of them were fully realized, like they were describing more things than we could actually see or would be able to see. It looked like a little bit of that. But overall, I mean, it looked okay. It was nothing great. It's kind of what I expect from a Pokemon game, other than the character designs. I will say I did have more fun catching Pokemon and like playing the game overall this time than I have for most of the other Pokemon games that I've played. I don't know really why that was. This game is not necessarily super different from any other Pokemon games that I play as far as like structure, battles, storylines, play style, all that kind of stuff. But I just found myself having a little more fun this time around. I don't know why, but I will say there wasn't a lot of Pokemon variety when I'm like running around in the wild and catching Pokemon. It'd be like one in every like 8 or something Pokemon that would actually be like something useful for me. And I'm not like a super hardcore Pokemon player. I don't think you need me to tell you that in this video. I think there's a lot of other instances of me saying that or making that clear. But you know, as a guy, I'm a big collector, so I like going around, running around in the grass and seeing, oh, what kind of wild Pokemon are going to pop up, and I'll try and catch different types and different all the different Pokemon that I can find, and I think that's a lot of fun. But a lot of the times it would be the same Pokemon over and over and over and over again. And it was a little annoying because there was... I would think that they made a lot of Pokemon. Even if they were only sticking to the Pokemon back from when this game originally released on the DS, and it was like 2006 or 2005 or something like that. They still had a lot of Pokemon to work with. Maybe not as many as now, but enough to where it could have been a little bit more spread out with the variety, I think. Also, like, you couldn't have... Like I said, the character designs could have been better. I think the incorporation to the end of the game could have also been a little bit better. A lot of them I just didn't feel the need to talk to at all, even though you're supposed to kind of like run around and talk to them. It kind of like prompts you to do that. I just didn't feel the need to do that. And I didn't really like interact with many of the characters unless it was important for the story or to get something special. And also, they felt like they got a little lazy with some of the naming. One of the bosses is just named Boss. You cannot get any more simplistic than that. Like, what the fuck? Okay? That was pretty funny. Another gripe that I have, I wish we could see what Pokemon we were about to encounter before we encountered them. It's kind of just like it pops up randomized stuff. You don't see them coming. You just walk into the grass, and unless you have this like repel thing, you just encounter them. And that's something that more modern games have taken into account. And they've had stuff where you can see the Pokemon and which ones you want to encounter and which ones you want to avoid, because either you don't need them or you're not ready to take them on. This game's not like that. And I know that this is, again, a remake from a game that didn't have that, what am I trying to say? Had that feature, but it's a remake, not a, like, if you're going to remake it, add that in. Like, the character design, same thing, and this, like, add it in. It would be so much better, and it would really save myself a lot of time. Probably as well, but I don't know. And then also about the going into the grass and stuff, like, don't go into the long grass. You could go in a patch of grass, and sometimes I would not encounter any Pokemon at all. More times than not, I would encounter like 10 of them in this tiny ass little patch of grass. Sometimes I'd be going around and trying to find Pokemon, and they wouldn't show up. But when I'm trying to just walk right through to go to another town or go to progress in the story or literally do anything other than try and fight Pokemon, you know what happens? I catch one. Or I get caught up in a fight. Like, what the fuck? The frequency seems a little high in my opinion, overall, but I don't know. That could just be a gripe on me. There's some cool. There's a lot to do in the main game, but there's also a lot of cool stuff to do post game for more hardcore players. Obviously, like I said, I'm not really a hardcore Pokemon player, so that didn't really appease to me. But it's cool that they included it. And my overall thoughts with this game, as a more bare bones player of Pokemon, it feels like they cut a lot of corners. I wanted a couple other opinions, so I did watch a couple other people talk about this game after playing it, and they said some things that I agreed with, like they cut corners with the game, and with the character designs, and just not including stuff that are more attested to more modern Pokemon games, and some of the cheap designs that they brought over that worked in the days of the Game Boy, as even the DS. And that just don't work anymore. Some design stuff, you have stronger technology, you have more resources at hand. Why are you going back to these more traditional or outdated, as I should say, ways of playing the game? And I can tell you exactly why they did that. It's to save money. They knew that re-releasing these games as remakes on the Switch people would buy them. Whether they literally all they did is transfer the data over from a DS cartridge to a Switch cartridge and just put it on the shelves for $60. or they completely remastered it and added all new stuff, they knew that the game was going to get around the same amount of sales regardless. So their thought process probably was, why put all the money, time, and effort into remastering, redoing, fixing stuff, making it like more what you do for the Switch games? Why do that when it's going to get just the same, if not a tiny bit more sales, but you're going to have less overall profit because you have to put all the money into the time into doing that? So why not maximize profit, just send it out as it is, and call it a day? And that's what they did. That just seems like what they did with this game. And that's why I know the system. But anyway, that's one of my overall thoughts about the game. Again, it's a Pokemon game. It has higher standards than I may imply that I'm putting on here. So it's okay. It's not a great game, but it's far from terrible, in my opinion. One of the more fun Pokemon games that I played, by the way, as well. So my overall score, though, for Pokemon Shining Pearl, I guess plus Brilliant Diamond, but not really. I'm going to have to give this one a 7 out of 10. No, 6. 6 out of 10. There's just a lot of design choices and corners that they cut that really take away from the overall experience of this game could have been, but it's still fun at its core. So that's going to do it, though, for this review. If you've ever played both Pokemon Pearl or Pokemon Shining Pearl, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video, so stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more game reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.